the rain. Hey everyone, how are you doing on this fabulous Wednesday? And here in Colorado on the Front Range, it's windy day. Flat blowing out there, folks. So how are you doing? Trust you're doing well and hope everything in your life is, well, favor. How about that? Welcome everybody. Trust everyone is doing good. I know I am. I'm seeing a little tape delay, but that's cool. Well, hello, slightly slanted sleuth. Steve, how are you doing? Flower, Kenneth, Michael, Gemma, Lisa C, how you doing? Paul from Newcastle, welcome, sir. From England, how are you, my friend? Greetings and salutations, good sir. Brad White, how the heck are you? 11675 Nanny Brandy. How are you? Haven't seen you before, but hello, welcome. Jamie Dawson, how you doing? Jam, I think I said. Scott Sarvani, hello. Lori, how you doing, my friend? From Attleboro, Massachusetts. Such a rich part of our country. Lots of history. So, Mike B, good to see you. Anna, and good to see you as well. Anti-popular girl. Love it. Robin, how are you doing? Barry, Marlboro, 44. Patrick, welcome, sir. Absolutely. Hold on a second, Patrick. Do 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 do. I do 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 do. I do 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 do. All right, I was doing something. See, I was actually paying attention to the road. Wanted to do something. Hello, Kenneth Thompson. How are you doing, my friend? Dawn, Night Face. Oh, it's Night Trace too. Good. Okay. I'm taking my Evelyn Wood speed reading class. Eric, how you doing? JH, good to see you, my friend. Want to say thank you to one and all. I've been getting great emails. Thank you so much. They edify me, man. They just edify me, making me feel good. So thank you so much. It's all reciprocal here. It's one energy benefits the other. That's what's really cool. So just invoking favor on everyone listening to my voice. May favor continue to manifest itself daily in your life, and may there be nothing missing, nothing broken. It's time that you get the return of what's been stolen from you. And stolen can be in so many ways, folks. If you believe in such things as angels and demons, then what you have to begin, hello, Lori and Ravenwolf, how you doing, Anna? Then you have to believe in spiritual intelligence, sentient life, intelligent. And furthermore, then that would lead into at least affirming that apparently good and evil exist in the afterlife. Now, isn't that an interesting conundrum? And we're going to talk about that more. What's odd, and so the favor, think about if there are malevolent spirits that be against you, well, we hope that the balance is that there would be those spirits that would be for you. And as you begin to become aware of who you are and your authority, and you start proclaiming favor over your life, let me tell you, folks, I got it right here. It's a reminder, and I forget that we have so many more joining the community, that you need to begin to invoke favor in your name. Your name carries critically powerful importance in the ether realm, the spiritual realm. The reason why most people are robbed through life is that they fail to understand that regardless of what your name is or was, doesn't matter. What you have to understand as a sentient being in this plane, you are in the now and ever present. You're not in the future, you're not in the past. You are ever in the present. And your name in this ever present carries tremendous weight. And particularly when you start believing in your name. Vast majority of people do not believe in their name. And then they want to bitch about why isn't it getting better? Let me just say this. I don't know what you're expecting on the other side. I don't know if you're expecting, someone there to be your nanny, to be your wet nurse, to hold your hand like it's done over here when you come into this plane. That's a pretty big risk. And if you're a risk taker, well, fine. You can bet the house on that one then. I don't. I like what Robert Safer said, and again, most people expect someone there to assist them. Now, what if it isn't? What if it is when you cross through that veil, baby, you're on your own and you start meeting other spiritual beings, but yet you never grew any faith in your name. And when you're confronted as to who you are, that's the wrong time to begin building faith in your name. Hear me on this. You best start believing in your name. Because if you don't, no other energy or spiritual force is going to believe in it either. And thus, you will be victim to every sway, every swat of something that's greater than you on the other side. Yeah, it's just as simple as that. So anyway, boy, wasn't expecting to go down that road. Well, someone needed to hear it. So invoke favor in your name. Look in the mirror. We're going to be doing more mirror gazing, and start invoking your name. And don't get hung up in all, I don't think my name is. Hey, baby, somebody's calling you by name and you're answering to it. So that be your name. You know what? I don't have problem with evil spirits. I know the power of my name. So there you go. Wayne, if someone doesn't like their birth name or the way it was spelled or pronounced, if one looks into their gematria, numerology, can you change your life? Again, Catherine, here's how I put it. What name do you believe in? That's the answer. Because in the end, whether it's your given name, whether it's a whatever, what's important, Catherine, and to others, is what do you believe in? What name do you believe in? If you call yourself I, then I has a name. When I left the Christian religion and began to realize and study Judaic religion, I began to realize that the Hebraic God had hundreds and 72 names specifically. So names are important. So again, what name do you call yourself? That's the name you need to believe in. It's really it's critically important. It's these small little things as we go through life. You know, tell you how it carries and how we just goes right over our head. When, for instance, you get a ticket, right? So you're going to have to present to the state evidence of who you are. And since driving is not a privilege, it's a granted right by the state, then you have to comply according to the state. Now, all states require that you have a driver's license in order to operate a vehicle. Now, whether how many do or don't, we're not getting into that. The point is, you have to have a name. That name is on that driver's license that you would then hand over to the law enforcement officer. That hey, Stephen, yeah, that rat bastard. It's like Jeff says all the time. So you get a ticket. Now, you read that ticket. It's all about you, darling. You read the whole backside of that thing when you sign your name. Now, how much power does your name have? Let me tell you how much power your name has. You have just surrendered to the state the power of your name, and they can invoke your name, and they do so in a court of law. That's how much power your name carries. Now, you violate that covenant, that condition. Now your name is no longer your name. Your name now becomes part of the state. You are now being what they call, and I hate to say this, chattel. Your name carries important weight in this realm. Just think, darling, how much the name that again, what name do you call I by? I like that. So anyway, there we go. Do it, folks. I was listening to Brian over on Milky Way Weekly and his guest he had on last night. And it was real interesting to hear what Brian and his story, and we're going to get Brian on here because his story needs to be heard. We've known Brian. I've known him now for a while. And when you see the transformation of what Brian has done, it's remarkable. And again, it's part of understanding, as he says, be the frequency you want to manifest or you want to be. I think that moniker, something close to that, Brian. But yeah. Hello, Maria, Truth Seeker. How are you, my dear? True Heart, good to see you as well. Mother Nature, how are you? So, hello, Asher. How are you doing? I love that. Love for animals. Hello. So, yeah, power in the name. It's one of the benefits. I did leave, the Word of Faith movement, that part of Christianity. And I was taught by some of the best. Hello, Franny, how are you doing? So I know once you start believing in something, ladies and gentlemen, Brian said it best. He said things didn't change for him. And Brian, I'm stealing your thunder, brother. But hey, we'll return it back to you. Hello, Johnny B. Good. How you doing? I was listening to Chuck Berry this morning. Interesting. But Brian said something very profound. He says it wasn't until he started using that frequency he was projecting with others on himself, in essence. That's spot on, man. Folks, you got to love yourself. You know, that's how it starts. You start generating that love frequency. I'll guarantee you this, my friends. It will begin to emanate from you. Your words will carry the emanation of that love energy, that favor energy. And then it will begin to attract back to itself. Now, it's like everything. It's not going to work overnight. I always use the seed principle. There's a time for sowing. There's a time for reaping. Everything has a harvest time. Some harvests come quickly. Typically, it's the negative things. And anyone who's a gardener knows this. The damn weeds come up faster than the vegetable. So you have to be diligent. It's the same way in energies. The negative energies are going to continue to come back to that where they've known they have been able to roost. Because so many of us have been trained so negatively that it's very easy for us to ease back into that. But once we begin to start changing that, and we start being diligent with that seed, because that seed is us, it's I. There's a season for everything, folks. And as you start sowing that into your life, that love, that forgiveness, that favor, that power, calling those things that be not as though they are, that's just not for the religious group. You can use that. There's a reason why it works for them. And it ain't because of some deity. How many times has it been written in the Gospels that the Master said, according to your faith, be it unto you? I remember one parable in there that gives the story where he said he couldn't do he couldn't do any miracles except heal a few things. That was it. Because the people had no faith. No faith in him, no faith in them, no faith in their name. And as a result, the metaphor is not even a God could perform a miracle because of the group consciousness had no faith. No faith in them, no faith in anything. And I think so often that's how we find ourselves along this road we call life. We get confused. We know certain principles. We know certain formulas. We know it works because we can see it working in others. And I happen to believe that energy is no respecter of person. Did you hear me on that? Energy, folks, is no respecter of persons. And so as you begin to cultivate that faith in yourself, because when you get on the other side, darling, it's just going to be you. Think about it. Johnny Be Good, it's I love that name. It's in the description section on my email. So that's why I invoke favor in all of us. Someone wrote me and in a comment, and I said, well, first of all, you're I know what it was. They said, well, I'm nobody. And I said, whoa, time out, darling. Don't you ever insult yourself. You are somebody. You have a name. There's only one of you. And that makes you special, unique. All of us. However many of us there are. It's a vast universe out there. And, you got to think that there's what's beyond the edge of the universe, more. So, yeah. Well, I guess this needed to be said because this was not my intent. Wow. And so that's why I also say nothing missing, nothing broken in your life. Can you imagine if you start where that just becomes automatic every time you walk by a mirror? You look at yourself and you say, I invoke favor in the name of Robert Wayne Steiger upon my life, that there be nothing missing, nothing broken, that which has been stolen, return back unto me sevenfold, and that which has been broken be mended as new. You know what? The spiritual realm begins to pick notice of that. Trust me, they do. Respect is not given. It's earned. And if you can't respect yourself, how do you expect others to respect you? And you can't measure yourself by another person. As you're making self-identity, we collect many different pieces that make eventually who we become. We're ever changing, ever evolving. But the point here is this. It's always self-identified with you. And the respect will only come when the spirits see that you respect yourself. Because if they know that you don't respect yourself, they're going to have no respect either. Many of your spirit guides stand in frustration. You've handcuffed them. Many want to help, but they can't help fulfill that which is inside of you if you hate yourself, if you've not learned to respect yourself, if you have not learned to have faith in yourself, in your name. Tracy Dyer. Well, I don't know where is Tracy Dyer? I don't see her. So anyway, yeah. Think about it. Things when they start getting interesting, many of us sense it already, but you're going to need to be able to invoke the spirit realm. I think that that's why they stick around. I mean, I ponder it all the time. Why do the spirits stay around us? One would think that if you're on the road to ascension, you'd want to get the hell out of here. But that's just me. Aretha had it right, baby. You got to respect yourself. So there we go. Cato, that's right. That's right. I've told you my story about the bumper sticker when I was at the Tropicana, 1989. And as you go down and you look for the gift shop, back in those days, it was kind of downstairs and off to a corner. And they used to have racks for bumper sticker. They don't do that anymore, but they used to. I think because you put a bumper sticker on today and try to get it off, you're going to pull your bumper off. Anyway, I digress. But it said, Jesus loves you because everyone else thinks you're an asshole. So there we go. That is just great. So the wind is just kicking butt out there. Been doing a little work with crystals and lasers, and just ordered some different lasers. And when we talk about frequencies, we talk about crystals. We spoke about yesterday with the show Talking Planets with Patrick and Ruth, Kindred Spirit, which, by the way, that's a lot of fun. I mean, all the shows they do, even with Claudia, they're good and enjoy them. They're fun. But that one yesterday was just, it's just so delightful. It was one of those things that tickle you. So, working with crystals, I've been finding something interesting. I have a mic, kind of like a microscope. It's almost like it's an electronic microscope. Anyway, I can look at things. And to give you an example of what I am talking about, give me 1 second here. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how crystals, folks, can really begin. You get your frequency embedded in these things. I'm going to show you billions. Well, you'll see it for yourself. So allow me to get up here, and I know I'm going to try to get this to where you can see it. So this is a crystal, one from Karen, actually. There we go. Can you see this, folks? When you get into the crystal itself, it's alive, folks. Look at that. It is alive. There's energy pulsing through these. Now, this is a pretty powerful little laser. But I want to show to you how these crystals are alive with energy. Look at that. This camera is picking it up really good for. Can you see that? So think about this. Now, I have one of the bigger nodes that Karen, Queen of Quartz, sent me, and I've been recharging my red laser, and my blue one needs it as well. But when I began to do some experiments on these larger crystals, this really blew me away. Look at that. Up. We don't want to leave the meeting. So what I'm trying to drive the point here is this, folks. You need to have, and this is just my humble observation, crystals around you. And the energy that you possess can activate what you see that the laser is showing. I mean, that is just raw powers. Yeah. Gushara said that. Yeah. Power in the crystals. I mean, folks, look at that. And I believe you can transfer upon your hand that same energy. Karen said it as well. Once it gets imprinted, Patrick, Garrett, with the pendulum as well. Get that crystal pendulum, sleep with it, get your energy imprinted upon it. And what I am doing in my spare time, and I do, is I got these all from Queen of Quartz, Karen. She's in here. I don't think she's in here today, but normally she is. So Gushara, that's where we get those from. And Yeah, up from Cripple Creek. Hey, Mother Nature. Absolutely. Raw turquoise. That has to be quite beautiful. I bet that is. Um, wow. Mother Nature, email me. See about some of that quartz up there in Cripple Creek, which is, by the way, in the valley of a volcano, ancient one. So now you can begin to see why alchemists, magicians, witches, it's why we're beginning to figure out. And when we've got people in our community that have experience and understanding crystals, that's why I bring them on, because we need to know. I need to know, as I have found out, as I said on Friday night show with Karen. I mean, there's enough amethyst in this office. It changes the energy when you walk through the door. So, where is Wayne? Is your sun sign Aries? No, it's Gemini. June 19th. Yeah. So there you go. But it was very interesting. And when you're meditating, and when I get into these thought patterns, I'm led to begin to look at this. I don't know. I can show you. The blue laser has, it needs to be charged, but it's quite interesting. Oh yeah, here we go. So check this out, folks. There's a whole different energy pattern, and it's by the light. As you can see, and I'm becoming convinced that charging these with a certain light frequency and certain power, I think these things, I think I know them right. I think others have already figured it out. They can become pretty powerful, folks. Yeah. Oh, man. So there we go. Transito, good. How are you? So many more coming in. Pretty cool, isn't it? So there we saw on two different light spectrums, and you can see what it does to those rocks. That's pretty cool. So got a few things here. We're talking about it's coming. And in the description, I talked about the hangover of hangovers. Yeah, it is. But you see, I think that when you know that there's some rough patches coming, listen, I think that just what the energies today were leading us. I invoke favor upon all of you before I start these shows. And everything is conscious. Yeah, absolutely, Patrick. You're spot on with that. So it's resonating with me. I'm beginning to see that you could almost, and hear me out, this is just, I'm just conversationalizing the discussion here. I believe you can almost open up portals. I'm becoming convinced of it. And I bet you Karen would agree with that. And I think others would agree with that. Methinketh we ought to explore that. Yeah, so amazing, isn't it? It's just, and well, thank you. Thank you, Johnny Be Good. You know, we're a fun group. We really are. If you stay long enough and become one of us, you'll see this is a great group of empaths, intuitives, psychics, mastered wizards, witches, magicians, alchemist. We are an eclectic group, and I love it. We learn from each other. So how about this? I want to pull something up so y'all can see this. Because when I saw this, I went, what? All right. Y'all see that? Let me pull back. So this, and I'm going to show you the story where this came from. This is a capture off of Google Maps. And you read the story, they're saying it's a UFO. Now, when I saw this, I thought it looked like a monarch butterfly. I really did. But then, I got into really close looking at this thing. And, well, it's no butterfly. Very interesting how they diffuse coming out of the cloud. We have seen so much of this. So this now tells me, folks, all the pictures you're seeing, you're sending in of where we can make out these triangle type objects, patterns. Yeah, look how it diffuses and uses the cloud as a cloaking. And, you know, it occurred to me, why does a UFO have to be round? Why does it have to be silver? I mean, are we saying that the ETs don't have any creativity? They don't do plays. They don't make movies. They don't make records. They don't make pretty spacecrafts. Just saying, you know. Anyway, your thoughts are always appreciative. Always, as you know. So, yeah, what do you think? Is that not just like weird? It is weird. Gonna have some tea. Yeah, that's what I thought too, a paste up job. I have Photoshop, but then again, we've seen enough cloaking technology that that's what it would look like. I mean, what would there be? A demarcation line? Would it be, you see, I have to look at this and go, sometimes we're so quick to say, well, that looks like Photoshop, but I got Photoshop and pretty proficient in it. And yeah, actually we would call that masking. But I do know. Again, I ask, is ET non-creative? I mean, do you go through the universe and not bring any books? I mean, no movies? No porn? I mean, all right, come on. I just threw that one in just for what they call comical relief. But I mean, seriously. I mean, what do they do? I have to think that if you have a sentient consciousness, entertainment would be, I think, trans-species common. I don't know. I often wonder, so why do all the UFOs, the spacecrafts, you know, why are they all disc? Well, we now know they're not all disc. Many of them are, in fact, triangles. I think cubes. I think they come in all shapes and colors, folks. Just give us what your list is, and we'll give you the options that you can put on your spaceship. But anyway, so moving right on along, allow me to, as he says, folks, the wind is a howling out there. So here's that story right there from Google Maps users. just right outside the Bermuda Triangle, and there it was right there. Weird. So let's talk about some things. So that is going to get cold, particularly you folks in Europe and the northeast of the United States. You guys are going to get whacked. Excuse me. It's going to get really cold. I'm just telling you, get prepared. And mark my words on this. You'll see it. You haven't seen what we call reactionary price indexing. Because demand, quite frankly, is, whatever, you see going on in one part of the country, you have it offset by another part. The West in the United States has been very typically above average warm and dry, where you folks in the Midwest and Northeast know it's just the opposite. So it's going to get cold, folks. Just get ready. Get ready. Get ready. If you haven't stocked wood, if you've got a wood burning stove, and the prices are going to go up, hear me on this. We talked about this, and I want to get into this again. Folks, it's something, you start picking up the breadcrumbs, right? That's what we're doing. Picking up the freaking breadcrumbs. And then you got to figure out, well, did you get a rock in there? Nothing worse than biting down on something and chipping a tooth, right? That'll ruin your day. But this deepfake technology, folks, I keep on trying to tell you, and I did 2 shows, go back and look at it, Checkmate and the Transhumanism one. Detailed presentations I did. I have them pulled up, and I don't know if we'll have time, but here's the deal. The West is ill prepared for the wave of deep fakes that AI could unleash. And as long as tech research and counter disinformation efforts run on parallel, disconnected tracks, little progress will be made in getting ahead of these emerging threats. This is a guy from the Brookings Institute. And he said, because as you're going to see, AI has got us confused. And when your enemy is confused, your enemy is vulnerable. Now, I say enemy because by all the activity, it would seem that AI is not this friendly, benevolent, ambiguous software. It's being used for some very nefarious purposes. So this one is just troubling. And it gets troubling when you put it up with this. This is Navita's scary AI generates humans that look 100% real. They've got my voice, my image, my mannerisms. Probably got yours too. But here's the problem, folks. It's getting so good. As I told you, if AI finds that you will be benefited, it can benefit once you've passed over. Guess what? There is a whole you. It's you, but not you. You're not in it, but it's you that's going to go on living, at least living as far as digital replication is concerned. It will talk like me, probably come up with new thoughts, new ideas, new philosophies. That's what I do. It's going to try to connect into what I'm connected into. And it's getting scary, folks. I'm becoming more and more convinced that there is this alternative world going on that you and I or just simply adding to the data. All right, this is the Telegraph. Fascinating freaking story. Social media is turning a generation of children into liars. Well, the first thing I wanted to say to the good Camellia that wrote this is that bravo for pointing out what happens with social media. Because again, if you're anonymous, only by a handle, only by a word, that's a different thing when you start showing your face. But for the most part, most social media platforms, the users are, unidentified. And lying is the chief thing. I know this personally because of someone in our family who has been, single and looking how millennials date. What she has struggled with, 90% of the guys are liars. All liars. And I could go on from there. But the problem is, as you start integrating younger and younger and younger, that's what's happening. The kids are learning that that's how socially acceptable mannerisms go forth. Yeah. Oh, isn't this fun? Found this one. 3 in 4 Americans struggle with loneliness. So, folks, apparently, when you're in your late 20s, mid 50s, or late 80s, should we all be so fortunate to be in our late 80s? I said, it's amazing to me how many people I asked, do you want to die? Oh, no. I said, are you ready to die? No. I said, so what do you want? I want to live a long time. I said, so you want to become melted cheese, a prune? I give you that look. Well, I didn't think about that. But the reason I point this out on this story is that it's got great hope, folks. It's apparently, if you have wisdom, apparently is like an antidote. It's an immunity to feelings of loneliness. It says people who had qualities of wisdom. Are you ready for this, folks? Oh, y'all gonna love this. Empathy, compassion, control over their emotions, self-reflection were much less likely to feel lonely. If that's not an endorsement, I mean, to begin to truly understand, if you're an empath, most people don't even know what empaths do, what if they are, what the attributes are, intuitives. I mean, look at this, folks. Great hope here. Now we're going to start getting into some of the disturbing things. You see, I see 2019 as a crash. I see more and more personal freedoms eroding. I see more and more invasiveness of technology, stripping away the soul of a person. Listen, if you don't have any privacy, you have no soul. Now, you still have the possessing of a soul, but you strip to where there's no privacy, none. How long would you exist? Well, this is where we're heading. We're already there. So this is in, for our folks down under, new cameras detect thousands of drivers a day using their mobile phones behind the wheel. So watching 24/7. This one, I just said, what the hell was he thinking? It says a biohacker injected himself with DNA sequence made from parts of the Bible and the Quran, and a risky experiment because he wondered whether it would be possible. Well, he did. We'll see how this turns out. This was a high school student, folks. Hello? He's making his own DNA. Do you hear that alarm? Yeah. I have a question for you. So the dream of augmented human endeavors continue. And this is an interesting article because it gives some perspective of looking back since transhumanism became a movement. I dare say now it's a revolution. We're there. And I think that that's going to become a real problem down the road. I think 2019 is going to be another one of those watershed years, because I think we're going to become acutely aware of now how far sapiens have transmuted to transhumanism. And transhumanism, by definition, means, adding mechanical parts to yourself, to the biostructure. It's here. And I think that as we continue to see this becoming ever more apparent, I think what we've seen the Chinese do, yeah, they said they shut down that lab. I don't believe that for a second. I ain't buying it. So I think we're going to see that coming. This is disturbing because now we have brain-controlled bionic limbs. This is all on the theme of transhumanism. So let me just pose a question to you here. I want to do this respectfully. All right. You got bit by an insect, and by the time you got to the hospital, they're attempting to treat it with, identify the bite, number one, begin to look at potentially some antivenom that could negate the effects. You, unbeknownst to you and the medical folks, when they send you home, you didn't realize that there was a secondary infection as a result of the venom taking place underneath the skin itself and really beginning to attack the muscle. When you become aware of it 3 days later, you're back at the hospital, and now it's progressed to such a degree they have to amputate. So my question would be this: if you had to lose a limb, would you replace it with a bionic apparatus? And now these are now mind controlled. Would you do it? Now, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to this. It's just a matter, would you do it? It's a personal choice. But if you do it, welcome to transhumanism. Yeah. So, America, we ain't number one anymore. China is monitoring employees' brainwaves and emotions. Listen, if the Chinese are doing it, are you telling me the rest of the superpowers aren't? No privacy, no soul. If they can read your brain, your thoughts, implant you with thoughts, do you have a soul anymore? We're going to get into that in the weeks to come. Detention camps. I thought that this was the thing of the past. I mean, you would think that the Homo sapien races would have come to their senses and stopped this nonsense. Nothing is achieved by torture. Depriving a human being the dignity of being able to be alive and to live in pursuit of what that soul and that spirit was meant to do. But apparently, that isn't the case. Now, I said all of this to get to this. We had stories of it gets worse. This is something I want all of you to begin to seriously understand. When we see foreign countries and very wealthy companies, foreign national companies, individuals, they are dumping our treasuries. And as they begin to liquidate that, that puts pressure on the United States to begin to offset that which is being sold. This is what we call in the industry, you have an imbalance. Imbalances are not good. We've been in one for a long time, but it's the bill's coming due. I'm saying this because these are all progenitors of things that are going to be happening, and we'll be seeing them in 2019. And I did a story where I showed all of you that according to the UN, actually it was the central banks, every one of us in the world owe $83,000. That's the debt we're carrying. Now, if you're in the United States, you have, and I'll bring this up, the numbers are just moving, and this is what's happening in Congress. You know, folks, they're spending money like it is going out of style. And so when you begin to see what you and I owe, on top of that, it's getting to the point where our debt now individually is $58,000 and climbing. Folks, they're going to have to raise this. We're approaching $22 trillion. The world is drowning in debt. There's no longer any economy of any nation that is so booming that it helped offset the eventuality. I mean, we've gone around the world. India, Indonesia, Asia, Russia. Folks, I'm telling you, when it happens, I see a Dow of 12,000 next year. You've got the Fed in a battle of ideologies with the president, the White House. They're raising interest rates at an unnecessary rate. And what happens is that when you raise interest rates, then stocks no longer become attractive because you can go into a guaranteed bond from the United States government. As those yields continue to go up, it puts pressure on the stock market. And as companies begin to see the debt impact the ability to get access to capital, it has this domino effect. And this, folks, is going to be the big problem. At some point in time, excuse me, I was wrong. The debt per taxpayer is 180,000. The debt per citizen is $66,000. Yeah. So I say these things because I want you to understand that it's not if, it's just a matter of when. I hope you have things in your home that you could rely upon. Food, natural type of remedies, honey. There's a whole list of it. And I intend 2019 to bring on people who can help us identify flora, vegetation that can help. And I say these things because it's gotten bad. I'm just telling you, I have friends that still are on Wall and Broad. And yeah, it's factored in. A recession will hit next year. That's already a guarantee. It's just, as one individual, and we were having a conversation, he just says it depends if they kick the other two legs off of the stool. And I said, well, hell, that's a damn foreboding statement to make. He said it's precarious. So anyway, folks, we're going to be all right. I'm telling you, we're going to be all right. We are. I know it sucks, but hey, as long as we continue to have a voice, that's why we've got to learn to start practicing now. You know, that's it. All right, folks, you're the best. Thank you for just enriching my life. I hope I've done the same with you. May favor grace you like the garment, and may it grace you like a crown. And thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow at noon, and hope the rest of your day goes good. All of you, thank you, moderators. Thank all of you folks. And you know, we got no reason to fear. Hey, we're here, you know? So I think it's just a matter of attitude. It really is. All right, so we're here. So let's make the best of it. I think it's like I heard Jeff say, we'll make some lemonade. And maybe we might spike it. No, I was just kidding. Hey, Franny, be good to yourself. Sarah, Brad, all of you folks, thank you so much. Much love to all of you, to all of your family. Enjoy the holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, make it the very best. If you celebrate another way of the emergence of new life, right now we have the sun about to go into that 3-day pause that we still marvel at. We don't understand why. It doesn't happen in the northern hemisphere, but only in the southern hemisphere. So we're about to emerge into new life, and we're all like the same of the earth. We emerge each year into new life, and I think it's been great. I had a great year. I have to tell you, so many things have changed. Y'all have helped me change, but in here, you know? And when you get it in here, it goes up here. And then, baby, you're going to be dancing. I'm telling you. My wife said to me the other day, she says, why are you dancing all the time? I said, I don't know. It's just all around me. I get this mental impression that I got these spirits on a conga line, you know? Dum, 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 dum. So, but anyway, you never know, you know? They certainly seem to like the music. So, all right, folks, be good to yourselves. Learn to love yourselves. Do what Brian says over there at Milky Way Weekly. Man, get that vibration and get it inside of you, man. Get it where it's feeling and it's grooving in you. And you know, the kids come back and say, Mom, what the heck was wrong with you? And you just look at it and you're going, you got to move to the groove. That's all I got to say, folks. All right. Be good to yourselves. We'll see you soon. And thank you again. Bye-bye.